Yeah, because that first show was really, you were still just kind of filling in at the time, right?
I had known Travis, the person that I replaced in the band, from college, and I met Pete and Steve at St. James because I take my afternoons there. And then while they were recording their first record, I got to hear a lot of the demos through the process and just decided that I wanted to make their band sound more like I heard it in my head.
Yeah, his style was like, that was, getting him made us sound like Moondog Matinee now. Like, that was a really important step for us, as far as that goes. Plus his personality also fit with all of us. Wow. I mean, everything in this bar, or everything in this band revolves around a bar somehow. That's how we've all met. That's where that's how we met everyone else. So it's kind of a weird thing. I think our music kind of reflects that a little bit. We'll go to the very first time we played out of town with him, and he just joined the band, and we had to drive down to Vegas for a one-off, which is a terrible drive. We left at night. And we didn't really know Dre that well. He was like a dude that was at the bar that just joined our band. And so, we get from Reno to Fernley, which is 30 miles, and he put away like a 12-pack of High Life. And also, Dre has a terrible bladder. He has to pee every 10 minutes. On that second tour, he just peed his pants on stage one time.
That was the third tour.
Third tour.
Anyways,
so I'm trying to sleep,
just a little bit,
because I've been up all day and I'm trying to sleep because it was an overnight drive, and he's 2 sheets to the wind. He's singing Rubber Tree Plant from Fernley to Hawthorne, which is High Hopes. Sorry, all I could remember was Rubber Tree Plant, and I remember we got to Hawthorne and I was like, what did we do? Like, what? We made a huge mistake. So then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and finally, an hour outside of Vegas, he finally passes out and falls asleep. So Vegas is about 110 degrees, so we park the bus in the sun, and everyone's fed up with Dre, so they just leave him in the bus. And he comes strolling in, just soaking wet with sweat, obviously hungover. And that was our first experience.
How'd you play that night?
He always plays fine.
The show was terrible.
What was it?
It was Indie Music Fest.
That was bad. It was bad.
It was so bad.
Just went over poorly?
I mean, we played fine. We played some pretty terrible shows. I mean, that's another thing. You never know what you're gonna get. I get really nervous before shows, but I get even more nervous before shows.
Yes, you
do. If there's one person at my show, and if I'm dancing around like an idiot up there, trying to give it my all, and the bartender's like, reading the want ads and not paying attention to us, it's tough on your ego, and you just got to deal with it. Our style of music is not conducive to that, to that kind of scene.
Yeah.
And it's happened to us. It's happened to us a lot. I mean, you just never know what you're gonna get when you're a young touring band. And it's gotten better over the years since we've started to gain following. And that's the whole game. You just hit these markets over and over and over. Mm-hmm. Bring it, show them what you got, and then you start to build these.
There's like a little bit more.
These pockets, mm-hmm. Yeah, and like Bend, Oregon, we'll have 1,000 people come out for a show in Bend, but it took us 4 years to get that, yeah. And we had some weird shows there, so.
Very style.
And it's nice going out of town and having the Reno name associated with acts that are close friends of ours. When we go and we say we're from Reno, we could be in Denver and they'd say, "Oh, we know Jelly Bread, we know Mark Sexton."
The reach, yeah.
It's amazing, or we'll be playing a venue and we'll look on their calendar, and a week later we're going touring one way, and then another Reno band's coming back. Failure Machines played this venue, and we'll be there the next weekend. So just having really great bands touring around, helps us. That they see Reno, they think of it as a band-centric music town, and I don't think there's anybody out there putting a bad name on Reno.
Yeah, what do you guys do on tour? Like, what's tour life for a Reno band?
Well, it's drastically changed for us. I mean, we spent the first 3 years touring in a full-size school bus, big yellow school bus, and we had.
How practical was that, by the way?
Well, there's two sides.
Watch Pete defend this.
I think I'm the only one that liked that old thing, but we had beds on it, so we could sleep on it at any time. We could get away from each other and hang out on it. But what we would usually do in the bus in Old Rosie was we'd get to the city, we'd find a really good parking space, and then we'd just go find bars until we had to play our show and load in.
Yeah.
And the thing with that was we were able to drive all night. So people would sleep and we would swap. So the bus never stopped running pretty much until we had to play our show.
Until it stopped running.
Until it broke down many times, and we got rid of it.
Yeah, how do you drive a bus like that even in San Francisco? That's got to be. We were actually talking about that the other day.
I mean, if I wasn't a musician, I'd probably be a bus driver. I think I was really good at it.
Was Pete the designated for like big city?
In the city?
Yeah.
Pete takes over.
Okay.
We were once stopped at a roundabout in Seattle, and a woman got out of her car to come over and compliment him on how good he went around this series of roundabouts. She was like, "That was amazing. I didn't think your bus was even going to make it down that street."
Weird.
Yeah, it's a hard city to drive.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe my last life I was a bus driver. I'm pretty good at it. But then we ended up selling it and getting a Econoline van, and we can get to gigs twice as fast, and we get to stay in hotels now and take showers
air conditioning
more than once a week, which was another tough thing is, unless you go borrow someone's shower.
Loving you is like I loved you long ago. I loved you long before I lost you and forgot, as though I fell asleep. A lifetime passed me by, then you came back to me. Into a braid, both the ropes you made, and then you wove them all at once into a line of trust that held us every day. Loving you is like curling in a wave, and all I have below is sand and sea to save me from this path I chose, the force of which is worth the journey from this point. I'm water to your earth. And I remember how you pulled the strings into a braid, both the ropes you made, and then you day. You're like coming home after the longest time away. You're like poetry when I have nothing left to say. Loving you is like evaporating frost in the light of day, melting all away, free from what it was, but ever still the same, moving through the world just by a different name. And I remember how you pulled the strings into a braid, all the ropes you made, and then you wove them all at once into a line of trust that held us every day. And I remember how you felt, and how you feel, and how you are, and I won't ever let you go. Now I have you in my arms.
Now you're in Jake's band as well.
I am.
Yeah. So how'd you rope him in, man?
I roped him in.
He roped me in.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It was the other way around. I played. It was like my first show in Reno. I've played.
Okay.
I was at the Levin Cup with Brian Jones.
Okay.
And
Just you on a guitar, just
Yeah, playing
Okay.
solo
Okay.
at the time. I had a string band also with like a fiddle player and our current bass player. But I played a solo show. It was me, Brian Jones, and I think one other person. Josiah Knight. Yeah. And Dre came down and he was like sitting right in front of the stage. He knew most of the songs I was playing. He was just like hollering all the lyrics and then we just like yeah. But I got done with my set and he was like, "Hey man, we gotta put a band together." And I was like, "Okay." Like was recording
guy that I don't know.
Right, yeah. He like introduced himself and
Hilarious.
the reception I've had here in the past year and a half has just been like astounding. Like I'm so grateful to be like part of such a great group of bands and musicians and people. Like, Pete gave me a job at the Levin Cup and now I'm like living up here and like he's taught me a bunch and it's like we're held in like in the same group as like Moondog and Rigorous Proof and Failure Machine. And
You're in
it's
the
like,
gang.
Yeah, we're like the new guys or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess. But like it's such a great group to be a part of.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, were you in Carson prior?
Yeah, I lived in Carson.
Okay, because you were making waves, kind of that whole thing. Like you've kind of had some noteworthy, I don't know, success, but like just some sort of like recognition.
Yeah, a little
right?
bit. Like we've been like we booked the Nevada State Fair as like the string band, or did we play that? No. Oh yeah, the string band played like the state fair and like
I just want to play the
we got
rodeo.
that Nevada Appeal, like the paper down there had their 150th anniversary party and that was our first show together. And then like, I was just playing solo around there and it's like playing up in Virginia City. I've been playing up there for years.
Wouldn't you tell me though, like there were some publications writing some good stuff on you too, like
in Europe?
Yeah.
That was after I released.
So how'd that all happen? Like how?
So
Who's getting a hold of your records, man?
yeah, I have no idea really. Like I released this record on CD Baby. Someone bought it on CD Baby, and the dude happened to like run an internet radio show in Spain. called "When the Cowboy Sings." Yeah, and he put it on there and he loved it, and he like messaged me. He goes, "Yeah, blah, you know, like I want to play your song." I was like, "Cool, man." And they like put a couple of the tracks on YouTube, and then this guy in like England who was friends with him heard it, and then a friend of that guy ended up hearing it, and it got passed along to like the editor of this British country music magazine.
Big country scene up in England, yeah.
Yeah, apparently. You know, like it blows my mind. But like next thing I know, I got an email from a dude in Nashville saying, "Hey, we want to export your CDs because like all of this publication and this and that." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're in this magazine, you know," and like. I ended up getting in touch with the editor, and they sent me some copies of it. And I got like, what was it, the Honky Tonk album of the month when we released it, and that was pretty cool. So I started like selling CDs to this dude in Nashville, who'd export them to Europe.
So they're still
Selling
buying
in record
music over
stores. Yeah, yeah. They
You guys
like
should tour
buying
there.
CDs.
Every
that's what we
American
want
band
to.
should
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
Jake Houston and Moondog should do a European tour
That'd be
together.
fun.
And Dre does double duty.
Double duty Ballard. That could be you, man.
I hope that one sticks.
DDD. Double duty,
We just
Dre.
submitted it here, man.
Good old DDD.
But yeah, so they were like selling my record in like all these European countries, and then I got an email from a guy named Joris who edits a like a music magazine in Denmark,
Yeah.
I think, called Sounds with a Z. And
It's very Denmark.
Yeah, and it's just a music magazine, but he's like, "Hey man, I like want to do an interview with you, write a little piece on you." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I like got up at like 5:30 in the morning one day and like to get him on the phone, you know, at his lunch break.
Let's say, what time is it over in Denmark at
Yeah,
5:30?
I have no idea, like 1 o'clock, noon, something like that. And so we did that, and they put us in that magazine, and then we were in the other, the British magazine again for like one of the albums of the year, the editor's picks or whatever it was.
Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide.
that far. See your fine hand in my life. I've done wrong too many times. Lord, ain't that a crime? 'Cause now she's gone. And that's the thing about being home. I can picture the smile on her face and feel her with me when I smell the sage. And feel her with me when I smell the sage.
I guarantee there's a billboard with your face on it somewhere there.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're probably selling a substance that you don't even know. Yeah. Just like you're selling candy bars or or cologne. Yeah. Yeah.
But no,
Stock photo of large cowboy. Just like, put it on everything. When kids are doing book reports on the Wild West in America,
I'm like
in Europe,
I'm like the-
you're the picture that
the clip art they put
that
on
goes
the
in their
header of
PowerPoint.